Hi, we're gonna drop the bomb today. It's a love bomb. So, with this love bomb, it's a shift of perspective that is going to have you be able to manifest anything while healing the relationship with the self. Now, it's effortless and it does not require any work except of doing this little observational inquiry together with me right now. So let's dive into it. Now, here's what we do usually with the language, right, with the intellect. Let's say that I want to manifest the most beautiful, loving relationship and a partner who is Princess Jasmine from Aladdin or Pocahontas or some Disney World character in real life, or it's a Prince Charming for you, or it's a stupid amount of money that's just like there for you to enjoy, or whatever that might be, right? So the intellect will tell us, I am manifesting, and then I'm manifesting that, let's say, money. Now, when we think that, we just put ourselves in one of the channels of reality that is not the highest frequency, which is okay, but look what this channel does. It creates an entity here that is the I am, and the action of doing something or manifesting or, I don't know, like creating a business or like signing a client or whatever, right? It's an action, and then the result of that action might be happy clients or your money or whatever, right? Or I am manifesting a partner, so I am is doing something that results in something. So that's 3 degrees of separation right there between you and that thing that you are manifesting, because now it's you and you're manifesting, and then there's a thing. Now if you check it out from this perspective, whoa. You are feeling yourself now by simply allowing this perspective that I'm explaining to become your observation. You are feeling yourself as the field of awareness. You are awareness in space, and in this space you are experiencing a sensation of having a body. You're experiencing this transmission that is verbal transmission on another density of this space of your awareness. And you have a body, you have a world inside of your awareness. Now everything in this field of awareness is the screen of awareness that is showing up different sensations or objects on the screen, like your body, like this talking head on the screen. Now your mind might tell you, this talking head here is Jovan, and you are somebody listening to Jovan, right? But now you're checking this out, and there is just the field of awareness. There is only the screen. And there is an appearance of a talking head on this screen of life that is talking. So you yourself, from this screen, are talking to yourself, the observer, and you're reminding yourself that all of these talking heads are imagination that you are having. And the world that shows up on the screen is imagination that you are having. Now, all of the objects of imagination, they are one with this imagination. There is no separation between a partner that you relate to on the screen. That partner is already one with you. There is no relationship with this coffee cup. It is just an appearance on the screen. Now the body and the coffee cup, they have a relationship. But when you look from this perspective of the unified screen of imagination, all of these are just objects on the screen. Now you are the observer, and you choose what objects of imagination show up on this unified screen. Because there is no separation between the objects, there is just a screen of imagination. There is only vibration of unity that we also call love. These bodies, your body, my body, they show up on the screen. That is you. The money shows up on the screen. That is you. Any other object or circumstance of your movie shows up on the screen. That is you. Now you can rest your persona for a few minutes because you're noticing that you are the awareness and that the imagination of the world is inside of your screen of awareness, and that you as awareness are nothing other than this screen, nothing other than this imagination. Even if linguistically I say there is the awareness and there is a screen, I am implying two. I am implying there is the self and there is the world. But observe now, there is no other than the self, and this world appears as the self, as a projection of self. Now, feeling yourself as this self, you feel yourself together with this world, and voila. You're one with the screen. There's no other than you. Now, there's no logic necessary anymore of how something shows up in the screen of imagination, because all things are already there. As you imagine something in the observable world, those things or events show up. There is no person that is doing something or needs to do something for these objects of imagination to show up on the screen. There is only the self, which is one with the screen, and selects different appearances, different arrangements of imaginary stuff in the screen. Now, already there is no separation between the experiencer of the screen and the screen itself, and therefore if money shows up on the screen, there is no there is no duality, there is no separation between the observer, the experiencer, and that money. If a significant other shows up on the screen, there's no other. On a lower frequency, there is another. We see two. We see myself and yourself. But if we see everything as the self, there is no other. So it's just you having two bodies on the screen. Now, let's say that before you were observing from this perspective, you fell into the screen. You become one of these fallen angels. So you are identified with the objects, with the stuff on the screen. You think you are a character within the screen, a character within the world. And you see world and objects in the world like other than yourself. So let's presume that you might have previously experienced this fall, call it an immersion into the video game, when you forget that you are the totality of the game, but you identify with the objective things like the body, the story of the body is having or not having something, or your body, your somebody is deserving or not deserving to have something, or your body, your somebody can or can't have money, or can or can't have partner, or a happy, loving relationship. Now, inspect these assumptions in the screen where all the objects are interconnected and they are one. Why wouldn't you be able to experience a relationship of love with this talking head and this cup of coffee and an amount of money? Let me grab an amount of money right here. Why wouldn't there be a unified field relationship with these things? Well, only if I would insert a story that this is other than me because I am this body and this is another thing that is separated from me. If I am field of awareness, then this body and this coffee and these bills, this cash, they show up in my field of awareness, and all of this is me. I am one with that. I am one with this and I am one with that. And truth be told, I'm one with all of it. So now I have told you that this manifestation is also going to heal your relationship with the self. Why are you having this game of life as an appearance on your screen where you're playing Super Mario Bros. And you're Luigi and I'm Mario, or vice versa? Because we are all everyone. Well, you're playing this game to play. Before you're really playing, you need to observe the game and master the game. And it's normal that we fall into the immersion with the illusion, and the linguistic mind puts us into these mental boxes of separation. This is why we say think outside of the box, because in the boxes, this is one box, I am the Super Mario, then Super Mario either has or doesn't have something, another appearance of the screen. I can say, now I have a coffee, now I don't have a coffee. But is that true? Eh? Is it really real? Because the only thing that I have is the screen on which this Super Mario appears, and then other things appear or not following what I project. If I project something is not here and I don't have it or I can't have it, that thing is not going to show up. The lack of that appearance is going to show up. Now, if I'm reconfirming the lack of something, then I'm saying that is not here, then that doesn't appear. If I know that anything can appear on the screen, then by confirming that that is on the screen, that is presented as an appearance. But it's not that I have money or coffee or a partner based on a presumption that like the avatar needs to actually do anything. I either imagine having that and it is so, or I'm imagining that I'm not having that. So because of this fall into the video game immersion, where we polarize Super Mario from the world and other things, we create what is called a personality that is a conglomerate of different programs. And in these programs, they are now stored in the subconscious of Super Mario, which is another set of data on the screen. But in these programs, we might record it that we can have love or not have love, can have money or not have money. We deserve to feel good or we don't deserve, or we are disappointed and we don't feel good. So we previously recorded these instances because we were identified with the body in the world, right? Now, you can energy test your screen or your subconscious and you can say, if I am one with my significant other, how true is that for me from 1 to 10 that I experience this other in the unity field? If I am in this unity field, in this screen, and I put money on that screen, or a humongous amount of money like $1 million, am I one with that? From 1 to 10, how true is that? Right? So you will be actually testing your projection template or your memory, your individuality as a person, and what your stored experiences, disappointments, and basically dual-based templates. Those templates, they make the world other than you, and then you're somebody in the world that is having not a positive relationship of unification with money or partners or whatever, but you're having a negative projection. So you split yourself from the world, you split yourself from this coffee cup, you split yourself from this like ingredients of this cup, you split yourself with the negative projection, you split yourself from the money, you split yourself from the whatever that may be. And this, when you ask, the first number that this screen or your subconscious gives you is going to tell you, is it true for you on all levels of experiencing, on all densities or vibrations of experiencing, that you are one with that? Because sure, we are here in this observation that we are just this field on which there are 2 or more talking heads, and some of them are holding coffee and money, and like some of them hold the hand of their significant other. So how true is it for you that you are one with that thing that you are manifesting? So that thing that you are manifesting. So surely you see that you are not a person manifesting something. You're not a person doing an action that's going to result in X. You are simply the awareness in its screen of imagination. You're putting things there, and there is this also thing that you previously put on the screen, that is the memory of a person being separate from something, separate from love. So you are healing your relationship with the unified field, because everything in this world is you, and you are healing your relationship with yourself, because by allowing yourself to have relationships with any object in the world, or person or character that's showing up in the screen, if you can see them all in unity, then you healed your relationship with yourself, because there is nothing other than you. So how to transform, alchemize the relationships if your energy testing is saying that is only 2 out of 10 true that you feel like you're one with something. Like, if I'm one with this coffee and I say how true that is for me, then I will have a number 8 show up, because there is stuff recorded in my personal experience that say that this coffee is acidic, so it's bad for me on a personal level of experiencing. So that creates, and maybe some other beliefs create, that I can experience this coffee in unity, in love, in carefree mode, 8 out of 10. 2 out of 10, there is some personal memory that is saying there is something bad about this coffee, which is a negative relationship towards the coffee. God bless you. Even by observing the falsehood of this relationship that is inserted on the dreamscape. So my personality and my subconscious memory of that personality is another appearance on the screen that is a unified field of your imagination. So when I witness the negative relationship to something, and at the same time I'm witnessing the unified field, what happens? The negative relationship to that object on the screen transforms into 10 out of 10. I'm one with the screen and every object on the screen, therefore coffee is one with me. And now my relationship with the coffee on one level is 10 out of 10, I am, and I am all things. And on another level, it's 9 out of 10, because there is still some personal memory that is dual. Now I'm going to tell you, if you successfully energy tested what is creating this polarization between you and life in general and objects on life on the screen, I'm going to tell you how to dissolve it effortlessly. Well, I already told you that whatever is creating a personal memory of you being separate from something is still energetic memory on the screen. Your subconscious beliefs are energetic memory pictures on the screen, and you are the screen. The screen is your imagination. So there is nothing stopping you from simply transforming the appearance of this screen in any way you want. Yes, you have the complete authority over all of your perceptions. Now, you can energy test if you are able to come into the perspective where you believe 10 out of 10 that this whole screen is in your authority and you can change your subconscious in any way you want. And if you are 10 out of 10 aligned with this, then you can tell it and it will change. when you say move, the mountain will move. Now, if you're only 5 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 aligned with this understanding, with this perception, with this knowing, with this observation that you are the absolute alchemist of this whole world of imaginations, first thing that you want to do, you want to dissolve that relationship so that you can come into perspective that yes, you are the observer and of the imagination and the imagination too. Both Shiva and Shakti, the observer and the dancing energy, they are one. If you make these two one, and that's just a perspective to uphold, then you say move and the mountain will move. So, presuming now that you want to make these two one, and you want to come 10 out of 10 in a perspective where absolutely you can shape-shift the appearance of reality in whatever way you choose, because there is nothing appearing on the screen other than you want to cancel out the energetic memory that's telling you differently. Now, the only thing that you need to do is give allowance for this to be transformed. And you only need to believe 1 out of 10 that this that I'm presenting is true and resonate with this 1 out of 10. There might be 9 out of 10 resistance to this belief, and still you can say, I am commanding from place of unity, oneness, that 9 out of 10 is released and transformed into 10 out of 10 that I am in a unified relationship with everything on the screen of reality. And in whatever words this is natural for you to explain, you're asking your God self to transform your state of being that is appearing on the screen of life and relationship to the screen of life, so that you may perceive without any difficulty that it is already so, and you will perceive it 10 out of 10. So you will allow this, and then you will tell your subconscious energetic memory to allow this. And from your God self, which is the unified state of the screen and the dreamer, the observer, this will be then changed, because your personality only exists within the screen, and any resistances, they exist only with the screen. So as you say this relationship with the self as one absolute container for the world, in which there is nothing other than the self, everything is going to be transformed that is not aligned with this perception. Now, you may already feel the effects of this. If you have allowed this, you may already feel the effects throughout your body. And if you don't right now, then just surrender and allow for this to happen right now. Now, if someone out there is having a tough time with this because you are not used to energy transformation and this type of work, you will repeat this before you go to bed. And then when you wake up tomorrow, you will energy test your perspective. And then if you're not 10 out of 10, then just repeat this every single night before you go to bed. until you wake up one day and you're 10 out of 10. So to be in a permanent state of enlightenment or in the unity field with the world, it's an intentional dissolving of these energetic memories of somebody who's separate from the world, whether that is coffee or I am angry with another beings in the past and I have memories of that, or I feel wounded by the world or whatever. So there might be a lot of this individual energetic memory or karma to clear if you're attempting to quantum jump into unity consciousness. If you want to quantum jump into changing your relationships with the world one thing at a time, one relationship at a time, then you can first change your relationship with your loved ones, then objects like whatever, money or career or whatever, in the same type of fashion that I already explained here. So instead of changing the whole screen and your state of perception altogether, you're going to first check in with Mr. Tiger over there in the world, and you try to see if you're experiencing Mr. Tiger with fear that tiger's gonna eat you, or you can see Mr. Tiger in this cuddly love, meow, meow, meow. And then you're gonna take Mr. Buddha, and then you're already programmed that you experience Buddha in oneness. But maybe you put that God above you, so you feel it's not 10 out of 10 that you are Buddha, but it's 5 out of 10 that you are Buddha, or you are one with that Buddha guy. Buddha. Then after you 10 out of 10 with Buddha, you take Snoopy, right? And you change that you're 10 out of 10 with Snoopy. And then you take the ugly motherfuckers like Hitler, or whatever, like Jack the Ripper, or scary things, right? From the domain of entropy and destruction. And you might feel resistance, you might feel fear. Well, even better, because those things that are making us feel fond of, I'm 8 out of 10, I'm already fond of coffee, I don't have a great duality disruptance there, there's just maybe a slight agitation with experiencing that in unity love. But if I look at the boogeyman, the devil, or somebody that is really an antagonist in the world, they're designed in a way to test me. They're designed in a way to reject them, because their face is evil, okay, so can you love me now, right? And then this is the ultimate test, right? Because those things that are shocking the nervous system, because they're oh, I don't want that near me. You have to be at least neutral if you want to experience yourself as the screen of life. Because then the objects that appear on the screen that look ugly, that are scaring your personal Super Mario reflexes, and they're telling you to avoid them, you need to be able to sit with these in equanimity. So this is before, and don't mistake this for satanic worship, because people do satanic worship thinking that they're going to receive power from, and so let's say this is Satan, and I'm thinking I'm disempowered because I'm not the screen, I'm this person who feels disempowered, so I'm worshipping even Buddha. Even if I worship Buddha expecting to get some power from them or from this guy, I'm doing this, I'm worshipping idols in a video game because I feel disempowered, right? So all of that is transactional seeking from some power or love that was misplaced. In the unified field, everything is love and power already, and everything is you. So there's no two things. There's objects appearing on the screen that we can then do the mental nomenclature and say, my body is having relationship with this cup because I'm holding that in my hand. By the way, this is happening on the screen of life where it's all me. Right? But then if we're lost in that screen, we then need to ask Buddha for a favor, or we need to ask Mr. Tiger for a favor, because we cannot summon up the power, courage, love, whatever, because we feel that there is something, an obstruction in the game of life, right? So now we are making deals with the devil, and it doesn't really matter if we are worshipping the goat-headed idiot or like Buddha-headed idiot, because we are then the idiot. There's just a kid playing in a game that took it seriously, so there's nobody ever actually losing it, because all the suffering and like duality is just still a God tripping balls inside of their own dream. You see what I mean? Now, still, we may acknowledge that we are in the God state of unity with everythingness, or that we are experiencing some duality, some split, some separation. Now, if I give love to like this okay, so this scary monster, okay, then it becomes a pet, right? If it's a goat-headed idiot with like, I don't know, like the worst of the worst, right? Eating children in a scary movie and like blah 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 blah. Now, if you don't get this, if you're gonna take this from your personal perspective, then I'm sorry, right? I'm really giving a non-dual transcendent perspective. So I'm not talking about doing some lame ass shenanigans to get the power from Satan. I'm telling, see that as an appearance in the screen so you can love it, so you can bring it up in the unity consciousness, and that holographic picture of that monster will dissolve and you will feel one with the one, seeing that there was nothing other than the one but the appearances that were trying to make fun of you and get you into more polarization within the game. It's actually teaching you, that scary monster is teaching you to get back into your original God observation. If you're choosing to fear and avoid some things, those fears, those monsters, those pests are not real, but the more you avoid them, the more you're trying to compensate for not having a complete unified picture, and then you're led astray by the game, and now the game is playing you. And you're a lost soul within the game, but you're never lost, because on another level you always knew and you always perceive this that I'm sharing. The only thing is you avoid, and then more splits are created by these mental analysis of avoidance, etc. But now if you love the devil or whatever, right, or coffee or money or Hitler or Buddha, you need to love them not as a transactional relationship of like you are going to worship like Buddha or a demon or whatever. You need to be just present with them until you see them in unity, which is love. So love is not a transaction, or worship even is not a transaction. It's existing together without separation. It can be very neutral. Because look at this, you are neutral to things that are already there. Like I have a pencil case and it's lovely, and it was lovely. I bought it because it was so nice, and then I bought all of these things because they excited me, right? These beautiful colors. But now, once I have this, it's just here. And it's just there, and I'm pretty neutral because there's no separation. This is already here. So this is always here, and it's effortless. Now, things that you created, things that you imagine are not just here. Things that you imagine are separate from you, then there is an effort. Then there is also a resistance or clinging. This is why I'm saying take the worst of the appearances on the screen and see it in complete 10 out of 10 neutrality. Is just there. You don't have to resist it, you don't have to cling to it, because it's just there. And there is no you in relationship to that, whether that is coffee or money or demons or angels or beautiful fairies or whatever, gold pot and like the temple of Krishna. So if you take coffee as Krishna, if you take demons as Krishna, if you take whatever name of God is your favorite name, I'm just saying Krishna because it is my favorite name. So if you take all of these objects as yourself, there's no doer and the action and the result, there's just isness. And you can then change whatever you want on the screen of that isness, because you're the dreamer of that isness. And you are that isness. See, now the words are almost like too complicated. But okay, I'm using words because I'm pointing out to things. Assuming that you are in the intellectual dimension of the game where you're confused by the game, so I'm giving you the elevator, right? So you can elevate the perspective, and now you see from the top of the building, it's all appearances. So where you have the most clinging or the most resistance is where you have the most recorded beliefs that that thing is other than you, whatever that thing might be. A relationship, a cup of coffee, a hamburger, a goat head dude is doing like, what is he doing, like this or whatever. So if you can neutralize that, then you are coming into unity with your screen. And you can neutralize all of these things one by one. Again, to neutralize them, you only need to feel if there is a resistance. And then you have to say that you, or ask, or command, or surrender into a dissolution of this energetic memory that is creating the resistance. It's only the story that you previously recorded. You might have recorded it from an unconscious state of being. You might have been playing the game and just in a state of not seeing from the tower. You were trying to do good for yourself, but from an incomplete perspective of duality, you created more separation. So you just need to dissolve these energetic memories on the screen, or allow that it is not your ego or your Super Mario that is even going to dissolve them, it's the screen that is going to dissolve them, But your Super Mario identification has free will to either allow that or not. So your operating system that is still memorizing some duality relationships, you can cling to it, or you can allow that to be dissolved effortlessly from that space where it's just a screen with some energetic memory, with some appearance of subconscious beliefs. And it is the same. You can create or dissolve subconscious energetic beliefs, or you can create or dissolve objects in your reality, or whatever is in the screen you can just create or dissolve, because this is who you are, this is who you always been. God consciousness playing in Lila, its own dream. The Lila dancing Shakti is nothing other but the dream fabric. And you, the dreamer and the observer and the enjoyer of that dancing Shakti, Lila, or Maya, the illusion, you're not separate from her. See, the observer and the screen, they are not separate. They are this divine coupling, which is one, actually. It just becomes this, it can be described as two things with the faculty of linguistic nomenclature. And therefore we say, I am, and then she is my experience of life, this dancing Shakti. In truth, there is nothing separating anything. There is no separation. But there is an appearance of separation that within this dancing dream creates separate objects for your enjoyment. Now, we experienced, as consciousness playing in the game of life, we experienced ourselves in the immersion with the world of objects, the molecular manifestation of things, and we have developed a language describing these things, and therefore we know that I am this body, and I have a relationship with coffee, and I have a different relationship with money, and then I have this type of relationship with my lover. And then I describe and then perpetuate these different descriptions. As I describe these relationships, I am always creating myself as an entity in a relationship to another entity. But then also I can hold the perspective that all of these entities appear inside of me, which is enlightenment, basically. And upholding this perspective is then perpetual experience of enlightenment, or stable experience of enlightenment, which is having relationship with every object on the screen of life as yourself in love. Om.